Hey fellow swing traders, this is Rick with Hit and Run Candlesticks. How are we doing this weekend? This is Sunday, May 23rd, 2021, and I'm posting out here or recording some weekend charts to ponder. I also asked in our Facebook user group, the Hit and Run Candlestick user group, I posted a question in there if anyone would like for me to go over some charts on this on the weekend chart to ponder series, post them in the room in the user group, and then I'll take a look at that. So what we'll do is I've got 11 charts I'm going to look at and talk about, and we'll just start at the top of them, and as they come up I will talk about these charts and give my 2 cents on it, I guess. First, let's take a look how the SPY did Friday and, well, last week as well. So if we put this trend line here, you can clearly see that trend line moving up, pretty much following the 50-period moving average. That's the blue dashed line there. And then let's take this trend line here and just lay it on the top of those candles where we're ending on Friday here. We can see that you know, the buyers lost control up here, and then it appears that the buyers started to take a little control. We rallied up, made a high, but a failed high, and then down we went back to that 50-period moving average, or right in that trend line, holding up pretty good. And then we rallied up again and found a little resistance right in this area on Friday, which, you know, I'm not surprised that it was Friday. We've had 2 big days up, and really 3 days if you count the morning gap on Friday. So I'm not overly surprised that we ended up with a little bit of weakness. The little bit of weakness that we found did hold above the T-line and the Trendicator here. So for this reason, I'm going to have to be slightly to the bullish side with a ton of caution. Now, to be truly bullish, what we're going to need to see is a, you know, maybe rest in here for a day or two and then break out. That's what we're going to need to see. Now, one thing that could happen here is we could do a little continuation back to the downside and find support right in here. That's possible if you want to stay bullish. That is very possible before we start that attempt to break out and get to moving. Now, if we're bearish, I think what we need to see is a true breakdown of this area in here. Let's make that really fat. There we go. I think we need to see a true breakdown in there, and then you know, where we break down, maybe we do a rally, a failed high, then I think we're going to have some serious issues in the market, and we could probably count on a little bit more downside. But at the moment, really what's happening is just a lot of chop going back and forth, and the chop appears to be getting narrower. Now, one thing I've learned in trading is it can only get so narrow. It gets to that point where it just can't get any more narrow. It just tightens up so tight. Something has to happen. Now, I'm not suggesting we're going to get all the way over here, but something could happen between this level and maybe over here. What we need for confirmation either way would be, here we go, would be a breakout, whether it happens Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or a breakdown from this area right in here. Again, whether it happens Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday. We're going to need to see that to show the true colors of this market. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Be cautious while we're in this area trading between this this top red line here, downtrend line, and then the bottom uptrend line. Be careful in here because all that is chop, and that just well, just chops you to death right here. So be a little cautious there. All right, let's take a look at some charts. I'm just going to start at the top of my list. The top of the list doesn't mean that these are good, bad, or indifferent. They just come up the top of the list. We're going to start with KHC, and when I get to the ones that there's 3 of them that we had members of our Facebook, the Hit and Run Candles Facebook group, ask about, and when those come up, I will definitely talk about those and share those with you. Okay, so KHC. For those that are familiar with the bullish pop out of the box, this is a great example of that. And this right here would be the box. And what we're looking for is that pop. Many traders might have considered Friday as the pop, and I can't dispute that. That certainly looks good to me. And then for those that want to wait for that breakout right there, that makes total sense to me. Beautiful, beautiful bullish chart here. You can see that we've broken out, we've rallied up, and then we just started that little bit of consolidation in there, and there's the pop out of the box. Nice multi-days of consolidation. That's what that is. So we'll be looking for an entry on that. I do know several people that bought this Friday and several that bought this Thursday as well. Earnings is in July, so no real big concern there. Not yet, anyway. Great looking chart. We're going to definitely keep this on our watch list for an entry. Pretty much, we're going to look for an entry in this area. And I see 10-15% move on this. As far as a short-term swing trade goes. Another one that I like is this INSG. For those that are trading the pinball setup, for those that like that pinball setup, this is one right here. We had a great little positive price action over here that handled itself quite well. And then Friday we pulled back. And I think that's great because what that does is it offers a near entry area. Now, what we've got is a profit target. Now, those that are familiar with the pinball setup, you know the profit target up here. First profit target's about $8.74, and then we'll just move right up here to the 50-period moving average. This gives us approximately. I'm going to move it. Well, we'll move it right there. This gives us approximately 15% for a possible overall trade. We'll be looking for an entry, and the entry we're looking for is just simply a sign of buyers. That's all we really need here is a sign of buyers. So about right in here, that would be awfully sweet. I wouldn't mind paying a little bit more for it, but we'll let price action tell us that. And live trading alerts will tell us that as well as live trading alerts will help us follow the price action without staring at the chart every 5 minutes. I want to remind everybody that if you check the links below, we do have a 30-day trial. It is $49, but you also receive the app. The members app, so you're alerted anytime we buy anything, sell anything, adjust anything. Also alerted on stocks that we just kind of like, but we're not necessarily buying. We can't buy everything. You'll also, if you become a member, no, this is not for trial members, it's for members. If you upgrade and you get the membership to Hit and Run Candlesticks, we're also buying you the first month of the live trading alerts so you can give it a shot for that first month, and you'll see what that can do for you there. Okay, Mara is one. Now this was one that came from Yana. I may not be saying that name right. I do apologize, but Yana asked about this, Mara, and so when Yana asked about this, he was asking about it to the long. He would prefer a long trade. And one of the things I've really learned over my years of trading is you don't trade long until you get a long chart pattern. You don't trade short till you get a short chart pattern. So as I look at this, honestly, all I see is a short chart pattern. There is no long pattern here whatsoever. We still have a downtrend, and until we receive that clue of a long trade, which right now I think what we would need to see is we've got a series of lows. We're going to need to see a high and a breakout, and then a test, and then we'll need to see buyers come in. So there, I just can't see this being long until we have something in here that gives us that clue. Now, this is just one clue. There's several other clues, but we're going to need to see something in here that suggests the bulls are coming in. Just buying in here and guessing, nah. I've seen a lot of traders come and go trying to do that sort of thing, and well, be careful there. So as far as a short right now, I think this is looking pretty good for a short. We've got some consolidation in here, which sets it up for a possible short play. We start to see weakness to the downside. That looks to me like an excellent short play. And right now, I see about 1250 as a possible target down here. And my goodness, that's almost 94%. So we're going to keep our eyes on this for a short trade. Intel, I like Intel for a long trade. Thank you, on it. I've got one more for you, and when we get to it, I'll certainly talk about it. Intel looks to me like a possible long trade, and the playground that we're going to be looking at gives us about 11%. So in this area here, we're going to shop, wait for that buy signal. We're simply going to wait until the buyers start coming in. We get the proper buy signal, the proper setup. You know, if we feel good about the market, there's a lot that goes into it, not just, hey, this is a buy in this area. It's not just a buy in this area. You've also got to have a few other things lined up, like the market in your favor. And so we'll wait, and we'll make sure that that is set up. And if it's set up, we'll certainly consider buying it. I'm looking for about 11% up to the 50-period moving average, and I'm not going to be bashful about 58.30 up here as a possible profit zone as well. KHB, we may have a possible short setup here on KHB. Big old shooting star up here, and then you can see the downtrend. We might be failing that 50-period moving average, and if we do, I'm looking at about 64.80 as a target, and that's 12 to 13%. So we'll wait for the setup as far as the entry goes. Again, making sure the market is helping us out a little bit. So the market would have to be moving down, or certainly not moving up. Another one that I'm looking at is INO. This is another one of these pinball trades. I really like this bottom. I think it's constructed a very nice bottom in here. And we've got a nice little pop out of the box being constructed in here as well. From this 673 area right there up to about the 50-period moving average gives us 22 and a half, maybe 23%. Nice little entry in this area, or maybe a slight little breakout on that. I'm going to lower that just a little bit. There we go. Entry in this area, or like I said, on the breakout. We'll look for this to continue up, and this is on INO. Another one is Space. Space might be setting up. A lot of excitement the last few days on Space. Space has been in the news. A lot of people talking about it. Buyers, we had a big gap down, and then buyers came back in. This could be a good capitulation move to the downside. Certainly a belt hold. A few sellers came back in, non-believers, and then the buyers took advantage, picked it up, and then started moving us up. We had a nice gap up here on Thursday, holding above the Trendicator so far, and the T-line. The T-line is climbing to the upside. I think what I'm going to do is put this, I certainly wouldn't want this back below $18 and change here, low change. What I'd really like is to see a little consolidation. If I don't get the consolidation and it starts to take off, let it go. Let it go. Don't chase. Wait for the setup. If it pulls back and gives us that entry that we're looking for, then great for us. We'll certainly try to take advantage of that. And then we'll look for a move up toward that 50-period moving average, which gives us, if it was bought at the very bottom, which I'm not thinking that's going to happen, but that'd be about 39%. Nice little trade there on space. Okay, let's take a look at Ford. Thank you, Robert. Robert asked about Ford being long. Hey, and again, next week I will post something in the the group Hit and Run Candlestick group page on Facebook when I'm ready to accept those for these stocks. And please post out what you would like a little info on, and I'll post them on the weekend charts to ponder. So here, Robert posted Ford. Ford had a terrific breakout. Ford is one of these charts that I see going higher, much higher. And I don't personally see any reason why we can't be considering even, $20 up here on Ford. I do think Ford goes higher. Ford is one of my favorite charts for a little longer term or just trading in and out for a long term. Right now, I don't think I would chase it up here. If you're not in it, that's a little high to be paying because the likelihood of consolidation is just too great. We're right up here now with this double top, and a little pullback is not going to kill it. I think that actually sets it up for a nice entry, and that's what we will be looking for. I can't say whether the entry is going to be $13.21 or $12.65. We trade based on chart patterns. We trade based on timing the trade. And right now the timing just says to me that it's too high and we need to wait for that pullback. And when we get that pullback, I'll certainly be shopping and we'll be sending out those alerts as well. Now, of course, Ford might start to break out here. And if it does like I have seen so many charts in the past, what it'll do is break out and it'll probably test in here. So if it breaks out, I'll look for that test. That will become a new buy area. If it doesn't break out and it starts to consolidate, we'll wait for the signal and then we will look for a buy on that pullback. Thank you, Robert, for posting this out for us. Here's one, SRPT. There we go. Yeah, sorry, I was looking at my list here. SRPT, this was brought up by Paul as being long. Thank you, Paul. And yeah, I think this is a great looking long chart here. It is a pinball setup. Thank you for this. I love this chart pattern. Let's do this here. Let's do this. So what I'm looking at here is this area would be a buy area. And of course, there'd be nothing wrong with buying a bit of a breakout as well. So we also have a huge monster gap over here. But let's not get carried away. Let's not get carried away, okay? Definitely the gap could get filled, but let's take one step at a time. So what I'm seeing right now is our playground. Let's see, right in there, yeah. Our playground about 34.5%. I think that is a reasonable trade in a reasonable amount of time. There actually may be 2 or 3 trades in there. And then we'll worry about this gap up here. So with this chart, here's something that I just noticed right off the bat when Robert posted this. I took a look at it. Man, what a nice rounded bottom. Very nice rounded bottom. And then all of a sudden, we started doing this pop to the upside, this back down, this pop to the upside. This is a sign that the bulls are starting to stir and that the sellers, bears, are starting to walk away because they see the power of the bulls coming in. So here we've broken out over the 50-period moving average. This is a terrific, I think I said I might have said pinball setup earlier, but this is actually a rounded bottom breakout setting up. So nice little entry in here. What we'll do is we'll shoot for about $100, $101, and that's about 34% up there with buying inside this area here. If we wait for a breakout and then buy on this pullback, then that's going to certainly shorten up the percentage gain, but still a very, very nice gain. Now, before it gets up here, before it can go here to here, it certainly may see a couple little minor pullbacks along the way. So we'll watch for those. We'll be careful with those. We'll take profits when we need to take profits, and we'll look for entries when entries are made. Once it breaks out and can prove it can hold this $100, $101 area, then we will look for a challenge of this 157. Very nice chart, Paul. Sorry about that. Thank you, Paul, for posting that out there. I appreciate it. DDD. This is one I really like, this DDD. We traded this here up into this area. I have not gotten back into it. I'm waiting for another little piece of consolidation in here, and then I'll look for an entry. So entry down in this area, and I'm looking for 34.30 up here as a nice swing target. So we'll keep our eyes on this one. Let's take a look at RIOT. We got another one from Yana here. Remember, Yana put out the Mara chart, asked question, and Yana was preferring a long trade. And like I said earlier on that Mara chart, this RIOT, we need to see that the buyers are coming in. This is not a sign that buyers are coming in. If this is, if we use this as a sign that buyers are coming in, then we would have had to have used some consolidation here as the same way. Now, this consolidation is after a nice little bullish candle, but notice we didn't get follow through, and that's what we need. When we have a downtrend like this, what we need to see is something that reverses it. So low to a high to a higher low, which we got, but what we did not get was a higher high right in here. So we're going to need to see the exact same thing here. We can certainly count this as the low. We can do that. But what we need to see now is a high. We need to see a test, and then we need to see that breakout right there. And then maybe we can look at RIOT for a long trade. But right now, I'm afraid this RIOT looks a little bit to the short side to me, just because it's in a downtrend and there is no signs of buyers coming in. I think one could make an argument that there might be some support here, but support means absolutely nothing without price, and we just don't have the price there. A little more to the downside, maybe. I would be looking for 1130, and that actually sets us up for about 134% move to the downside. Ouch, that's smarts. So before we want to go long on this, let's make sure that those doggone buyers are in there. Trying to pick a bottom, I've seen too many people do that, and you never see their name after a little while. It's just so hard to pick that bottom. Wait for the buyers to give us the clue, then we can look at a trade. Big shout out to Robert, Paul, and Yana. Thank you very much for posting in the Hit and Run Candlestick Facebook group page. Appreciate you guys posting those stocks. Everyone, thank you so much for watching our video. Don't forget, join our YouTube page or YouTube channel here. It's free, doesn't cost anything. And if you're interested in one of our 30-day trials, there's a link below, and you'll also get the scanner when you upgrade to membership. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. We'll see you this coming up week.